Hello, my friends and mighty companions. I'm here today to just share with you a few things from my heart. I would like to, I guess I just want to speak freely from my heart because I have a website. And now that I have a website and I've started blogging, there's this way in which I see the world through the eyes of my website and blogging, and how can I take what moves me and what I'm touched by and share it with others, and how can I express myself in such a way that they'll get it and they'll understand, and I'll touch you, in your heart or in your mind or your spirit. And that inquiry has become a bit overwhelming for me, I suppose. It's kind of a lot of pressure to put on oneself to be like, everything that I feel I must share. It's not true. So, here's what I want to say. Here's what I do want to share that I just don't feel I can put into words and do it justice. So when I was at the Arise Music Festival this last weekend, which was an inaugural festival, and it was amazing, and if you're local and you can get out there next year and support it, it takes place on beautiful land and beautiful people there and amazing music and art and all that jazz. And the last day that I was there was a man offering free oracle readings and dream interpretation. And I was so excited because I'm fascinated by my dreams, and a couple in particular that I asked him to interpret. And he takes a Jungian approach, and he studied for 20-some years. So I have this dream in which I am constantly in different houses, and I'm locking doors and I'm locking windows and closing everything down. It's like people are coming after me, and I'm securing the perimeter, and I'm afraid and I'm fearful, and I need to make sure that no one can get in. But there's a lot of windows and a lot of doors and a lot of access points, and I often wake up from the dream like, geez, don't buy a house with a ton of windows, because when they come for you, then what are you going to do? You got to make sure they're all locked and closed. Anyway, in his interpretation, he said the windows are boundaries. And he read me this thing that he wrote from an oracle that he designed. But it was essentially that we're in an era of Oprah's couch. And people share and they cry and they tell us their most intimate details for the whole world to voyeuristically peer in and witness. And since I've begun to have a blog and write, that's been a trippy experience in and of itself. Expressing my emotions for just anyone to read, and the finding where I fit in the midst of that, how much to share, who's reading it, how are they interpreting it, receiving attack, receiving compliments, being out in public and having people know intimate things about me and compliment me or say something about it, and I'm like, what? Huh? And it's like I don't even know someone that well, but they read my blog and they know me, and it's fun and it's interesting and it's scary. And a quick side note, I was just back home in Ohio visiting family for a wedding, and I have some cousins and my aunt and uncle who I never talk to during the year. I see them once a year, and they were telling me that they all follow me and they read my blog, and I didn't think my family was reading my blog. It's so now it's family, and we have our own dynamics and interesting relationships, and I don't share that much personally with some of these family members because mostly they don't ask. But in my writing, it's revealed there for the world to see. And there are ways in which I feel that being a writer is one of the most deep, intricate, crafty ways one could live, to articulate my innermost thoughts for others to interpret, and then to have them take on a life of their own and just be there forever in existence, to always be witnessed by I don't know whom, and I don't know when, and I don't know where. It's like we could be curled up with someone's book, reading their words, crying our eyes out, having the most intimate moment in the world, and that person would have no idea. I only hope that my books and my writing could get to that level. But anyway, so the boundaries. This man says, you need boundaries, and we're in this era of sharing everything on Twitter. We can just impulsively, within a moment, tell our deepest stuff, sharing all these pictures, all this stuff on Facebook. And so I really am at a point where I'm wanting to secure the perimeter and get really clear about my boundaries. He said that there's this idea of New Age oneness, and that we must all be in a big group hug, and we must all participate, and follow these leaders or say these chants and mantras. And maybe we shouldn't. Do we know what they mean? Do we know what a teacher's intentions are? Do we know where they're guiding us? Do we know all these people? Like, oh, we're just automatically all community? Well, maybe I don't even know that person, or I don't know their name, and it's like we've had this sort of idea come that, we're just all one and we're all love, and so love everyone and love your neighbor, and that means having no boundaries and not having any discernment about who we have eye contact with and who we allow to touch us and who we'll hug. And I find it quite interesting, because I definitely can find myself being a little irked sometimes when I'm like forced, or I'm hanging out somewhere where everyone's like, okay, group hug. And I love people, and I'm a good person, but I don't always want a group hug. Or, oh, we're all one. And I'm like, really? Because half these people haven't even talked to me, or like looked at me, or acknowledged me, or don't even know my name, or I was actually feeling completely, uncomfortable. But we're community, and we're a tribe, and we're family. But like, how authentic is that? And what does that truly mean for us in this day and age of New Age oneness, community, family? So I guess my point is that it's okay to be spiritually discerning about what you want to participate in, and who you want to follow, and who you even want to touch you. This is one I struggle with, but being empathic and being psychic and being really sensitive, as many of us are, touching people, I can take on your pain. If I touch you, then I might be feeling whatever aches you were just having. Like, it can be super exhausting for me. I maybe don't want to touch you. So dreams are far out. Dream interpretation is something I'm definitely going to be getting more into. And it was fascinating and totally valuable to have someone really reflect back to me some of my innermost subconscious dealings. This thing I've had repeating dreams over the years. So securing the boundaries, securing the windows, closing the doors, locking the windows, and not letting people in so much, and starting to open the doors within the self and getting to know thyself. Because if we just blindly follow others who maybe don't know themselves that well, we could end up in a ditch. So it is about trusting self and know thyself, and cultivating a connection and a relationship inside of self, and still really discovering where are our boundaries inside of this new age of oneness and love and unity. Because in all of nature, in the oneness that it is as a thing, is vastly unique. Every tree is different, every snowflake is different, everything is different. There is uniqueness in all of it. So my interest and my intention at this point is to finally allow myself, inside of the name of oneness, to be unique. That I don't have to just follow the crowd of like, oh, one love. And because I guess what I do is sometimes I'll feel something different from everyone else, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I don't, or I'm not that unique, or I'm not that special, because there's nothing new under the sun, and if I'm feeling this, probably other people are feeling this. So I sort of toss away the pearls inside of my heart, and I'm really interested in actually, who am I? And there is a part of me that has to really secure the perimeter and those boundaries, and not just be like, oh, we're all the same, if I'm really going to truly know what makes me different and unique. And I think also in, wanting to overcome racism and not having tolerance in these things, it's like we've spent such an overemphasis in trying to look for similarities, and that we're not that different. And now I'm interested in going back the other way. Well, actually, how am I different from you? What is it that I uniquely have to offer? And how can I show up and be a contribution to you and share my heart and my wisdom and my gifts with the world in such a way that it makes a huge difference, but it's not like too much, you know? And one way that makes a difference for me is when people engage. So if you've watched this video and you like it, share it, comment, let me know you were here, because if you're just voyeuristically watching me and we're having this moment in time and space and then I never get to know, that's what kind of trips me out. And that's your right and your freedom. I'm posting this on the internet. But consider engaging and letting me know that you've taken these words into your mind and your heart, and may we find the ways in which we're distinctly different so that we can show up to the collective community with our unique and special offering and message and medicine for the world. Namaste! Namaho! Much love. Thank you.